Hi, this is Larry Hankin. Yeah, I'm on spoiler country. So don't tell anybody this is a spoiler about spoiler country. This is a spoiler alert, by the way. So watch me or anybody else on spoiler country alert.
Perfect.
See ya. Yeah.
Welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm right here as Kenric Regan. I think he's either right up there or he's down below.
I'm
pretty sure maybe he's this way or
right there. High five.
That way. It's hard to tell because we're recording in Zoom, and when you actually download it and look at it and edit it, it can be any way you want. So one of these directions is Mr. Horsley.
That's me.
And today on the show, well, this was really, really cool.
It was a lot of fun too.
It was a whole lot of fun. Wasn't expecting it. This guy has been around Hollywood, well, for a long time. And we had a very extensive conversation about Escape from Alcatraz, which when I started asking questions about this, I didn't think it was going to open up as much as he did.
Dude, we only talked about 2 movies he was in. That's it. We talked about Escape from Alcatraz. We talked about Trains, Planes, Automobiles. And that's it.
Yep. You guys, some of the people, stop. Sorry, guys. That was Google Play telling me it's time to get ready for something else.
Yeah. Ready for your shit.
So I'm out of here. You guys might actually know him as the upstairs neighbors and friends.
Yeah.
And this is Larry Hankin.
Dude, this guy was a lot of fun, and he's going to come back on. We're going to talk to him again because, like I said, we only got to talk to him for over an hour, but only 2 of his things he's done. And he's got so much more stuff in his repertoire what he's done. And you're in for a treat. This is not only we're on video today. So if this is on a podcast, go to YouTube, watch the video, go to the website, spoilerverse.com, watch the video because it's there. It's funny. He's very animated. All the stories he tells, he's using his hands. He's a full on comedian and he's funny.
Yeah. He's really, really cool. I don't know, man. Should we just get into it?
Dude, let's not waste any more time. Let's just get into this.
There you go. All right, guys. We'll see you when we see you. All right, guys, welcome back. Today is really cool because I grew up watching Clint Eastwood. So Escape from Alcatraz was a big movie in our house. We watched Friends in the 90s and Seinfeld. And man, this guy here has been, I don't know, Larry, to say you're one of the hardest working men in Hollywood might be an understatement because you've been in everything. So, Larry Hankin, thank you so much for coming to the show, man.
Well, I tell you, I never paid any attention to. I still really don't, except when I do interviews, it comes up. Hey, you did a lot of shows, but I never really knew that I did a lot of shows. I mean, you're an actor, you go out and you audition, So it turned out that I was informed by interviewers that I've done 184 to 200, I don't know, shows. Wow. I blew my mind. I did? Wow, that's really amazing. Well, but the payoff for all that was recently, I'm saying in the last year or less.
Yeah.
Let's say 2 years, around Christmas. So the last 2 Christmas times, I didn't realize it, but a lot of the shows, and then 5 to 7 shows I've done in my lifetime, they're always on, right?
Right.
They're always on. It's, they're repeating all over the world. Around Christmas, I get a huge amount of, not big residuals, but residuals. But a lot of them, because I didn't know that. A lot of the shows that I've done, I say 7 or 8, are shown around Christmas time, like a Home Alone or even
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
From Alcatraz, but there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
So around Christmas time, it pays off. It finally pays off. I got a lot of residuals around, right?
Bonus for Christmas.
So it's kind of cool. Finally, I got. Oh wow! I don't have to work or do anything or audition. They just, audition. It's a residual comes. Great.
Nice.
So you've been, I mean, Dude, when was Escape from Alcatraz? 1970.
Well, that was the first thing I ever did. That was the first movie I ever did.
What was that like?
It turned out to be a huge hit.
Yeah.
It goes on and on. Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
You know, who knew? I lucked into that. I didn't even want to. I didn't even want to audition for that in the middle of it. I wanted to leave. I thought they were putting me on. Is really what I thought. The director, Don Siegel, who is a great man.
Yeah.
I love him. He passed on. But I became great friends with him. He was a really good guy. But he was always putting me on. I mean, he finally told me, he said, that's what they did back in the day, back when he was making black and white movies and working with stars, you know, and stuff.
Yeah.
They would always put each other on because I guess it was really formal in those days. Yeah, if you ever watch, you know, black and white pictures of like the stage, even the crew had suits. You know, the guy behind the camera had a suit on.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so I guess they just had to release a little energy. So they were always, and so I got the short end, you know, during 3 months of filming. So I thought during the audition that he was putting me on.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know how famous that guy was until I started making the movie and people were telling me. So I thought he was putting me on and I started to get angry. Like, you know, why am I here? Why are you doing this to me? So I wanted to leave. And finally, when he said, I guess he saw I was bugged.
Yeah.
Because he finally said to me, when the audition was finally over, he just said, okay, you got the part. And I didn't believe him because they never tell you that. That's like a no-no. So I thought, so he finally said, well, okay, you got the part. And I just sat there staring at him. And he goes, you don't believe me, do you? And I said, no, I don't. Because I just wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
He said, no, I don't. And he just said, okay, I tell you what, why don't you go home? And I was in the valley, so it's going to take me 45 minutes to get home.
Sure.
So I said, why don't you drive home, go home and sit by the phone and see what happens. Now get out of here. That was the exact quote.
Get out of here.
So he said, you know, sit by the phone and see what happens. Now get out of here. So I left. I said, you know, these people, man, this is the last audition, the first movie. The last audition I've ever gone on. But son of a gun, man, I get home and about 10 minutes later, the phone rings. It's my agent. Hey, man, you got the film, you know. Whoa. How did that happen?
Nice.
So, yeah, but that's one of my favorite movies. It was my first, but I also like what I did. I was so relaxed. I was so naive.
So you just did whatever you felt right.
Yeah, you know, it's just.
What was Eastwood like working back then?
Both of them were really great. When the awe started, because I was working on Alcatraz Escape every morning. We got on boats, 200 extras, and got up. So I really enjoyed it. There's 200 extras, and then Don Siegel, Clint Eastwood, and me. And I was so filled with awe about Clint Eastwood. I mean, we knew
he was the biggest star in the world at that time.
Yeah, so it just blew my mind, and he had a big, huge budget. So there was all, you know. And then when I finally found out, Don Siegel directed all these great black and white movie stars. Yeah. And he would tell me stories about them and everything. So, but finally the awe wore off. I mean, that's a great thing about the human condition. I mean, it's just so, except for fans, that I don't understand. It doesn't wear off. Fans are fans. But generally, whatever, you know, fear, anxiousness, whatever, an emotional wear off after a while. You're just in it. So finally, about a month into it, it was just Don Siegel and Clint Eastwood and me and 2 other guys, 200 other guys in a crew were making a movie. That's what it was.
It was just going to work.
Right. You just going to work and you just do what you have to do. High, low, you know. But I would hang out with the Clint because I loved hanging out with Don Siegel. I would just stand by the camera. I never went into.
He must have been amazing.
Higher 3 months. I just stood around going, "Wow, man, this is so cool." And he would tell me stories and stuff. But Clint Eastwood was interesting because there was only two things that he did. He never went into his dressing room, or rarely did. He was always on the set. Right. Oh, he's one of the producers too, so I guess he was watching. But was two things he always did. One is he had these two barbells, the ones you lift up with your hands, the hand barbells.
Yeah.
And they were hugely heavy. They were like, I couldn't lift them. They were like 50 pounds each. And what he'd do, every morning he'd come out, he'd carry them out, and he'd put them next to the camera.
Right.
And then he would go do his work or whatever. But whenever he wasn't working, he would stand next to the camera and he would watch, and he would lift weights. And I would go over when he was working. I would go over because I would stand by the camera. I would try to. It's ridiculous. So that was the one thing that he always did, and I just noted that. And then the other thing was there was 200 extras who were the other prisoners and they would all eat. We would all eat together. There was a table. But he was always eat with them, with the extras. So I would just eat with the extras, and I would eat with him. I'd sit at his table, because generally, in all the other things I've ever done, it's generally the cinematographer, the director, and the star would eat at one table, and they would talk about what the next shot was or whatever. So it's business. I never wanted to interrupt that, and I never thought I was welcome. I mean, it was their thing, but. He would sit with the extras, so I could sit with him because I was like an extra. He would invite you. Yeah. Oh, and the third thing about Clint Eastwood, this is a total piece of trivia. The poems, there once was a man from St. Ives who blah, 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 blah. Lear's limericks. He is a savant of Lear's limericks.
Oh, really?
The guys the extras would try to, would talk to him. They want to know about stuff. They would ask him questions. And stuff.
Yeah.
And he would answer them all. But when, Lear's limerick came up, and he happened to answer a question with a Lear's limerick. He said, "Oh, maybe that reminds me of a Lear's limerick." Blah 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 blah. And he would just rattle it off. And it was very funny. Some of them are dirty and stuff like that. Okay, so. Finally, they sensed that. Another guy asked me, "Do you know another Lear's limerick?" Yeah. And then after over a couple of days and weeks, we started to see that, man, he knows all these Lear's limericks. So they started to test him. And they would say, "Do you know one about an orange or a bucket or a lady or or what's, a dirty one?" And in the 3 months I was there, he was never stumped, and he never repeated himself.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's a weird thing.
Yeah.
To be a savant of, but you couldn't stump him. He had a million of them.
So Johnny, just so I don't know if you know Don Siegel, but Larry's right. This guy was an amazing director. He's the director of Two Mules for Sister Sarah, Coogan's Bluff. He worked on Across the Pacific. He worked on Casablanca. He worked on The Hard Way as the montage director.
So he knew movies.
You could see, because he worked so much. He also did Dirty Harry. So you can see all the stuff that Clint Eastwood has directed.
Yeah, I know a story about that. Yeah, it came up.
Yeah, please let us know.
Don Siegel. If you'll notice, you said a lot of Clint Eastwood movies.
Yeah.
He did about 5. He taught Clint Eastwood how to direct.
That's what I was going to get to. Yeah.
On Alcatraz, he was teaching him, and that's why Clint Eastwood was always standing by the camera. They would talk about it.
Yeah.
But then, if you notice, there's one scene in the movie where there's the infirmary of Alcatraz, and there's a doctor examining a convict.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The doctor is Don Siegel, and the director of that scene is Clint Eastwood.
Oh, nice.
And Clint came that day dressed totally different. Every day he came in the convict uniform, and that was all we knew him. And he came dressed in a brand new jogging outfit. He had he had the lanyard thing where you're looking, at the sun, around his neck. He was totally dressed. He was like a different guy. And he was all spruced up and all,
Oh man.
bright and shiny. And he wanted to direct. So, but but Don Siegel wouldn't leave him alone.
Yeah.
He wanted to be there. But Clint didn't want him just standing by him saying, no, don't, or give him that.
Yeah.
So Don Siegel said, okay, just let me be the doctor. I just don't want to leave the set. It's,
right.
It's a huge movie. So let me be around. So they said, all right, be the doctor. So he's the doctor in the scene, but he's really checking out Clint. See how he does. That was so funny.
That's hilarious.
Larry,
nobody knew, and he didn't want to be on. I mean, he tried to stay away from being full face.
Yeah,
he turned his back. So it was really funny, though.
That is funny.
But how Clint showed up, all different. No barbells, none of that stuff. He
wanted to be treated differently.
Yeah, man, he was serious. Man.
Yeah.
Because you'd hang around and joke. I mean, it was only one scene. It was a scene, but still. Then he changed and went on with his day as an actor.
That's awesome. Yeah. I was wondering, because you've run the gamut of movies and television. What's the biggest difference for you when you're working on a movie compared to working on a series? Well,
the budget, first of all.
Yeah.
The number of crew. It's huge. You're doing, mostly locations. There's movies, all movies. The interesting thing, here's the difference to me as an quote unquote actor. Yeah. That I really take umbrage at the difference. In TV, when you audition, you don't necessarily and generally don't audition for the director, the guy who's going to direct you. They have what is called, the casting director.
Right.
Which is bullshit. That's not a director at all. What you're doing is casting. Director. So you're cast by a casting director, and then you're sent on the set the day of the shoot to the director, and he's got to deal with this. What the fuck did they send me this time? So sometimes I would show up, and the guy and how I auditioned was not what the director wanted the actor to be doing on the set. Oh, man. So I'd have to change my thing, and I don't do this, what you're telling me. I would do that, what I was hired for. Yeah. So it would flummox me, man. It would just get me all weirded out. So I after a while, when I started to see what was going on, I really didn't want to audition for TV shows, because it's not the people who you're going to deal with.
Right.
Not the actor. I mean, you're not even auditioning. Sometimes they would have an actor audition with you, for the audition. But then it's not the actor who. Well, that's a small thing. I mean, after a while, it's just the whole auditioning for TV bothered me.
Yeah.
Because of that, because of the director thing.
Yeah, that makes sense, though, because you don't know what you're walking into at that point.
Yeah, and I don't think the directors particularly liked it either.
Yeah, because they don't know what they're getting.
Choice.
Yeah.
I mean, with the movie, you're dealing with the guy, and John Hughes was the great directors. I've worked with three, to my mind, great directors.
Yeah. Siegel, Hughes,
and they're different than all the other directors. There's a difference, man. John Hughes is just like Don Siegel. I put him in that category. The good ones, the great ones, they're just real people, and they're operating on a whole other level than anybody else around. They're storytellers on a great scale.
Right. Nothing's getting past them.
Yeah, and I would follow them around like a puppy, man. I would just, why are you doing this? Or, well, why did you change that? And,
Yeah.
Siegel would always go, I don't know, Larry, I think I'm going to be fired. That was the standard answer. Because he knew I was so curious. He would say, oh, this guy, I got to play with this guy.
Yeah.
And he would, I don't know. Or one time he would go, he'd say, oh, The worst one was he'd come up to me and he'd go. So I mean that was the difference. Did I kind of answer the question?
Yeah,
that was the main difference, and the budget, and also the casting was of a different caliber of actors.
Yeah,
because of the salaries and the expense, you know, it got better. But Don Siegel would come up like one time, because I never considered myself an actor. I'm a stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
I'm actually a stand-up social anthropologist, is what I am. If you ask me,
I love that title, man.
I love that title. That's what I am. But so he comes up to me and I'm playing cards. Because you have to go out at 8 a.m, even if you only had one shot and it was in the afternoon. 8 o'clock, you get on 7:30, you get on the boats and you stay there until the boats go out at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And there was one boat that would go back in the afternoon for, you know, an executive or a producer, but you had to wrangle to get on that, to get off the island.
Right.
In the middle of the day. So you were there. And so I'm playing cards with the other crew that wasn't working on this particular shot. And they look up and there's Don Siegel standing behind me. And he goes, "What are you doing, Larry?" Now I had one shot. It was the last shot, my last shot of the movie.
Yeah.
It was in the middle. It was where I'm left behind, where I'm in the cell and I'm left behind. And he said, "You know, what are you doing, Larry?" And I said, "Well, I'm playing cards." He says, "You know, you got a scene coming up." I said, "Yeah, it's this afternoon. It's around 3 o'clock. You know, this is the morning."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Yeah, well, it's an important scene." I go, okay. You know, I just wanted to play cards. I was kind of winning. I had a good hand.
Right.
What are you doing? And the other guys are they were all crew. They're just, what the hell is going on? Because he's interrupting in a card game and I didn't.
Right.
So I'm going, yeah, well, I'm playing cards. He says, "You know, you have to cry in that scene."
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, okay. You think you can cry? And he's standing there. You think you can cry? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Well, you better know because I need you to cry. Okay, I think I can cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't cry, I think you should go into your dressing room and practice. Okay. Now, no, I'll do it later. I mean, if you can't cry, you better slap yourself around until you can cry. And he kept on doing that. And finally I said, "Okay, guys," and I put my cards down and I said, "Okay, I'm going to my dressing room."
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Right.
He never was like that at any other time. So I didn't. So I just go on and I really tried to cry, and
He's riling you up.
Found out I can't. I don't know what that meant, you know, memory or whatever. And I'm slapping myself. I'm literally slapping myself. He said, "Slap yourself." Okay, it's not working. So I said, "Okay, I'm fucked now." I'm really thinking he stood behind me. He needs me to cry. I can't cry.
Yeah.
So I
got in your head.
I got it. Backstory. I'd never done a backstory. It's my first movie.
Yeah.
I never did a backstory. So I got a backstory. Okay. So I go looking for him now. It's after lunch now. I go looking for him. And I said, "Don, can I talk to you for a second?" "Yeah, what is it, Larry?" "See, I don't think my character would cry in that scene."
Right.
"What do you mean?" "Well, my backstory." "What's the backstory?" What's the backstory? Well, the backstory is, see, that he's not the kind of guy who would cry in that particular situation. And I've been working on that backstory.
Yeah.
I've been working on my backstory for all the other scenes in the movie. So this would fit.
I promise I have this backstory since the beginning.
Already. So, you know, so this would, you just follow along in what I've been doing. "Okay, just a second," he says to me. He said, "Just a second." And he calls Carol, who's his girl Friday. She just follows him around with a notepad and she takes notes for him. She says, "Carol, would you come over here, please?" She's about 28. And she's a really cool lady.
Yeah.
And, "Carol, would you come over here for a second?" "Carol, this is Larry. He's the actor. He's in the show. You know him." "Okay, Carol is Larry. Larry is Carol. Larry, would you tell Carol, I want you to listen to what Larry just told me. Larry, tell Carol what you just told me. About the backstory, tell her.
God.
So I go, well, I don't know what's going on now, and she doesn't know what's going on either. So I go, well, I told her my backstory, blah, 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 and my character wouldn't cry, and I've been doing it, and he wouldn't cry in this scene.
Yeah.
And then I stopped, and we're both bewildered. She looks at him, and he goes to her, what the fuck is he talking about? And then he turns to me, and he says, look, I got a scene. I got a movie. I got an entire movie. And he looks at, we're standing on Alcatraz. He's pointing at the ceiling like it's He goes, I got an arc here of just 200 testosterone-filled guys who all they want to do is escape or fight. And there's no other emotion but anger. I need another emotion here, Larry. So right about here, right about there, I need somebody to cry, another emotion. You know who's there, Larry? You. That's your scene. It's coming up in 2 hours. Now you got to cry, okay? Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Larry. And he walks away.
Oh, my God.
Fuck, what's going on? I mean, he hollered at me.
Yeah.
I mean, So I go into my dressing room, and I 2 hours, I'm sitting there just crushed. I don't know what to do. And finally, the AD comes in and says, you're up, man. Okay. So I go out to the set. They got it all set up in my cell. I'm, okay, everybody's gone. I can't get out. I'm sitting there. And he goes, all right. So I walk in, and he goes, you ready, Larry? I go,
oh, my God.
I'm not going to cop. I will not cop. I've never copped.
Yeah.
So he goes, you ready, Larry? I go, yeah, it's okay. Sit down there. And then he gets this big Panaflex camera about that far away. If you look in the movie, it's a close-up, man.
Yeah.
It's almost in my nose, like that. And he peeks in. He goes, you ready, Larry?
Oh,
yeah. Okay. He says, okay. And action, Larry, action. And I go, it's not happening. It's dry. Nothing.
Right.
Okay, cut. Hey, Ralph, bring it in. So this guy, Ralph, this crew guy comes in. You know those old-timey perfume bottles that your grandmother had? They had the little
with the little pump and the hose and the
little Well, this big guy, Ralph, comes in with a little grandma's perfume bottle, and he sticks it in between the camera, and he goes, and this mist goes by my face, and all of a sudden I start to cry, and Don goes, roll it, action. And he says, cut. Thank you, Larry. That was great. Thank you. Moving on. I said, what the fuck just happened? He said, that was wintergreen. He says, all actors get that. It makes you cry. He knew the entire day that's what was going to happen.
Oh, my God.
On the entire 8 hours or 7, I don't know, 6 hours.
Yeah.
Just,
He just got in your head to get you into that space.
No, I think he just wanted to fuck with me, with him. It has nothing to do with anything. He just wanted to fuck with me. He said that's all we did. And by the way, the crew, that was Malpasso's crew. That was Clint Eastwood's crew. They worked with him on every movie.
Oh.
And they worked with Don Siegel for all of the other 5 movies while he was directing and teaching Clint to direct.
Yeah.
They knew what had just happened, that in front of everybody, Don Siegel had put me on. So for the next day, I sensed that the crew, were trying to put me on. He said, whoa, he's the guy in the barrel. Okay, we can fuck with Larry. Great. So that's what they started to do. And I started to say, I got to get out of the barrel.
My God.
I have to do something weird and extreme.
It
took me about 5 days, but I finally found it. What happened was I was acting most of my scenes with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And there was always a ritual that they had. You know, action. Clint only wanted to do one take. Okay. And if you wanted to do another take, you had to tell him. Don Siegel had to tell him.
Yeah.
It never happened. It take one, blah, 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 cut. Don Siegel would walk up to Clint. They would totally ignore me like I wasn't there. It was just me and Clint. He would come to Clint and say, how's that for you, Clint? And Clint would say, that was good for me. And he said, okay, moving on. And that's how it went for 3 months. And somewhere in there, I just got fed up with being ignored completely.
Yeah.
He would never speak to me. How's that for you, Clint? That was fine for me. Moving on. Okay.
I guess I was okay.
So, yeah. So one day I just got fed up and I said, okay. So he goes, how's that for you, Clint? Clint goes, that was fine for me. And I said, just a second.
Oh my God.
Whoa. The dummy spoke. What is it? I'd like to do it again. I think I can do it better. Clint goes, yeah, well, I can't. And he walks away. So,
wow.
Boom, the crew just loved that. And they laughed. It was a big laugh.
Yeah.
I said, okay, now I'm really screwed. And son of a gun, 5 days later, this is what happened. He comes up to me. Don comes up and says, how's that for you, Clint? Clint says, that was okay. Clint said, I don't think he even realized it. He said exactly what I said. Clint Eastwood said, I think I'd like to do it again. I think I can do it better. And I said, well, I don't think I can. And I walked away.
That is awesome.
And there was dead silence. No laugh whatsoever. But I just kept walking. Now, where were we? We were on Tier C.
Yeah.
And on Tier C, you can only walk 2 ways, down that way or into a cell, a third way.
Right.
But the camera was hanging out over the railing, photographing into the cell, and it was just 2 people talking. But it was this way. Everybody and the crew and all the equipment was this way, so I couldn't walk down that way. I had to walk down that way. And that
exit stage left.
A mile away.
Yeah.
So I started walking, and behind me is silence. And I thought, I'm going to be fired. I don't care. I can't take the barrel anymore. Sorry, I don't care. And I kept walking, and there's just silence back there. And the door kept on getting further and further away. I just couldn't. And finally, as I got near the door, I hear Clint Eastwood go, hey, Larry, come on back. What's going on? Come here. Oh, fuck. Yeah. And so I walk back, and then he's going, come on back. And then he goes, okay, I get it. He said to me, all right, sorry. I don't think he said sorry, but he said, okay, I get it. But so we were okay. We were friends from now on, and I was out of the barrel. But man, those on a couple of days with the crew, you don't want to get on the wrong side of crew. But wow, that's my Alcatraz story. So. I'm all sweaty just from telling it.
It's a great story, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's show business.
Yeah. Well, that being your first movie, that's kind of a crazy experience to start off.
Young.
Yep. But moving forward, what was it like with John Hughes? I mean, he kind of wrote.
He was totally different. He was very shy. He was very quiet. Now I heard from John Candy and Steve Martin that they were invited to his house and they were talking and joking on the set, because I didn't know the Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. I didn't have that. John Hughes was kind of. I think he didn't know where I was coming from. I was a little too quirky. He just let me go, but he never said anything to me, or
That's so interesting.
But he liked me in the fact that one day he was going to a party after the show.
Yeah.
after the shooting, about 8:00, he said he'd pick us up, but he only invited 2 other actors to go with him in the limo.
Yeah.
With his wife and his kid. No, it's just his wife, him, me. I can't remember the other actor who's I don't know. And we went to this party. So, he must have liked me. I mean, because he invited me to go along. That was kind of special. I thought that was nice. But I never had any conversations with him. I never.
Oh, that's interesting.
He just say, sit over there, or, he knew the character. He auditioned me. It was a movie. He the character I was going to play. So, I don't know. Of course, Edie McClurg, who played my wife in that show.
Right.
The rest of the time I knew her, I knew her way before. I knew her back in San Francisco when she was I just knew her for a long time before we ever got into movies, just as actors. But after that movie, Edie McClurg always introduced me when we met at a party. This is my husband, Larry.
Nice.
Even if she was with a date. No, come here, Larry. I want you to introduce me. This is Carl. Carl, this is my husband, Larry. No, we were in the movie together.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but I said, why are you introducing? Because we played, So I never shut her up. I never said anything. I always accepted it. All right.
Yeah.
That's great.
So many great movies, but you're in a lot of
amazing. Wait.
Yep.
There is one thing that is special about John Hughes. If I mention it? Yeah. When I played Doobie, there was only time when we were in the cab. And there's a shot of the cab driving up to the motel. That's the only time where John and Steve and me were actually in a real cab and I actually drove in. Other than that, it's the drive. That's where we're talking there in the back.
Yeah.
Driving. That was on a sound stage. And all the things that were passing by, the sound stage was dark.
Yeah.
And Crews dressed in kind of very dark outfits, black, like Chinese No Theater, would run by with bushes and lights, to give the impression that we were driving.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's just a dark soundstage. But the weird thing was that I could see that it's guys running by with hedges and lights.
Yeah.
So I thought, this is crazy. I mean,
surreal.
The camera's going to see them. I can see them. But no, it looks like we're driving. Movies is magic. So anyway, we're doing the scene. Now, the scene is 3 pages, which is 3 minutes. Okay. And the scene that you see on screen is a scene that was on the 3 pages.
Right.
So we're on a sound stage. There are 2 of them in the back. I'm Doobie. I'm driving. We do the 3 scene. John Hughes, there's 2 cameras, one shooting through one window to the back of them and one to me. John Hughes is sitting outside of the cab. The cab is just a shell of a cab. It's actually up on boxes. There's no wheels on it. There's no engine. It's just a shell. We're sitting inside. And John Hughes is sitting on a soapbox outside of the shotgun's window, on the front. And he's got the script and he's just talking through the window to John or Steve or to me. Okay, do it again, cut, okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to improvise, he says. Okay, cool. I mean, John is from Second City. I'm from Second City in the committee. And Steve is just a genius.
Right. I mean, Steve Martin, hello.
Wow, he can do anything. He writes, it blew both John and our minds. Okay.
Yeah.
So he goes, okay, so, and this is how he directed it. He says, John and Larry, you do the scene as written. Steve, you improvise. Say anything you want, but you guys say the line. Okay, we do that. Blah, blah, blah. He does it twice. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Steve and John, you do the scene as written. Steve, Larry, you improvise. Boom. Okay. John Candy, same thing. Okay, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, round, and we do this for a couple of hours. Okay. And then he says, okay, now improvise. Everybody improvise.
Yeah.
We do that. Okay, he says, okay, I'm leaving for a second. Be right back. He leaves, and then he's gone for a long time. I mean, we're sitting there, we're talking, and what happened to John? And the camera guys are sitting there, standing around, and then all of a sudden, his voice is in the cab. Okay, guys, I can see you. You can't see me. I'm up here in TV Village, and we look, and up at the top of the sound stage, there's this little room with this stairway just going along the wall. It's 3 stories.
Oh, wow.
And he's up in there, and he says, I'm up in there in this little room. You can see me. Okay. And we see this little room. He says, okay, so now we're going to improvise. Well, obviously, he's in TV. He can watch the camera. He can watch TV. So that's why he's up there. So he goes, okay, now improvise. And what he's doing now, which blew all of our minds, is he's going, okay, just improvise the scene. We improvise the scene. He says, okay, cut. Okay, John, remember when you said blah, blah, blah in the scene before when I was downstairs? And John, you said this. Okay, so say that when Larry says this. Well, when Larry says that. So Larry, you say what you said. And he has it. Larry, you said blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the 3 of us realized that all the improvisation that we had done before he went upstairs, Booker had memorized it. John Hughes. Because he's saying, well, in the second improv, you said this, when in the third one, Larry said that. So say that when and he was like switching and saying, okay.
That's crazy.
It was just driving us batty, man. Because we were now trying to remember improvisations from before. He had it all down. John totally had it all down. So that's what we did the entire day. In the morning, we did the scene as written, and then for the rest of the day, we improvised or did bits from the writing and stuff. And then he dismissed us.
Yeah.
Okay. In the movie, now I go to see the screening. In the movie, the scene is what we did in the morning, probably the first or second take. That's it. So I thought, what the fuck is going on? Man, but I loved working with John and Steve, so I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, now, last year, so when was that movie made? Years and years ago, right?
Yeah.
Last year, I'm in a delicatessen, some famous Hollywood delicatessen.
Yeah.
I'm there with a friend, and I hear, hey, Larry, how you doing? I look around, and it's Chris Columbus.
Oh.
He's the other director with his wife and his kid and another friend. They're having, lunch. How you doing? I go, oh my God, I gotta let me say hello. I just want to say. So I go, hey, I go over to the table and I say, hi Chris, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, I want to ask you something. Oh yeah. He said, I want to, He said, you see John Hughes? He said, well, I think he had passed away already, John. John Hughes had passed away. But were you ever hanging around with John Hughes? You ever, Oh yeah, because I directed. Oh yeah, he directed another movie or something like that. I don't know. He goes, I have a question for you. In Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, I improvised a scene of a doobie. Do you know anything about that scene? He goes, oh no, Chris Columbus said it to me. He said, oh, by the way, I saw the movie and I thought you were great in it.
Yeah.
And I saw, you mean Trains, Planes, and Automobiles? And he said, no, the other movie. What other movie? She's Having a Baby? No. The film short. This is Christopher Columbus and the delicatessen is saying, no, the film short. What film short? John Hughes, the film short that you made with John Hughes and Steve Martin and John Candy. I didn't make any film short. Yes, you did as Doobie in the cab. I go, oh, wait a minute. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I went to John Hughes' birthday party a couple of years ago. And as an entertainment for all the guests, he showed a film short, a 10-minute film short of Doobie and John Candy and Steve Martin in a cab driving to somewhere. And it was hysterical. And I saw it. And I go, oh my God, that's what he was doing.
Oh, that would have been
a film short with 3 funny guys.
Yeah.
And I said, wow. Well, he says, it was great. It was great. I said, do you know what happened to it? He says, no. He said, do you know anybody who saw it? He says, no, I don't remember. It was years ago.
Yeah.
And John had died already. So that's a mystery to me to this day.
Oh God, that'd be awesome to see that.
John Hughes' story right there is wow. But I think what he was doing, John was doing was he had 3 funny guys, he had a movie crew, and he had the whole day set aside. He thought, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Might
as well use it and make my own little film.
Yeah.
Which is what he did. I've never seen it, and I would love to. But man, that made my day when Chris.
That's awesome.
Told me that.
That's awesome.
It must be funny. I mean, those 2 guys. I mean, I was
classic
up and stuff.
I still watch the Steve Martin stand-up. What did he do? Like 2 of them in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, and
I'll still put those on.
A couple of weeks ago, well, a couple of months ago, I was watching some HBO comedy special.
Yeah.
Guys, with an audience, HBO comedy special. But it was 2 funny guys.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, you know them. They're 2 hysterically funny guys. They were doing a 2-man show. And then they stood up, on stage in the middle of the show, and they go, okay, so here's a spot where we improvise, us 2. We are improvising. We call up somebody from the audience to help us improvise, which, we used to do that in Second City. I mean, it's a standard procedure.
Yeah.
But he said, so one of the guys says, but we know that Steve Martin is in the audience tonight, and we would like Steve to come up and improvise with us.
Nice.
And Steve, would you do that? And then the camera turns and Steve goes, yeah, he waves, he gets up and he says, okay, and he applauds, and he goes up on the stage, and they go, okay. And they sit at a table and they set up the premise, they're sitting at a table there. I think it was, they were having breakfast together or lunch. It was an eating thing. They said, okay. So they started to improvise. Now, these 2 guys I've seen, they have worked together for years. They're really funny. Yeah. I get that. But this is Steve, and it didn't look like set up or anything. And they said, no, this is not a setup. He said he would do it. Okay, come on. And Steve and him did like a 15-minute improv, and they couldn't top Steve. They couldn't top him. They would say blah 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 ha 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 ha, blah 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 ha ha ha, and Steve would just boom. Yeah, guys. Yeah, you want that to happen.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
But those 2 guys, and I'm from Second City. I in years improvising, and I just was blew away. And I had improvised with him, for Johnny, and still the guy just I can't explain that.
He just flips it on and it just stays on.
I mean I can't figure it out, and I'm an improviser. But if they would ask me out of the audience to go up there, I don't know if I could keep up with those guys. I mean, they're pros,
Yeah.
And so, wow, man, that's the thing about great people. They're great for a reason. It's just, they pop up and there's nothing in between.
Yeah. Yeah. So Larry, all these years in Hollywood, you're working on a book. When can we hope to read?
Oh, wow, man. Well, with books, it's like selling screenplays. I mean, you got to get it. I've been trying to sell a screenplay. It's really hard because right now, because of the COVID thing, nobody's in their office anymore. Everybody's working from home. Well, you don't have their home address, the home phone number. So you call, William Morris or whatever agency or agent, and you just get a message or a secretary. Well, I'll pass it on, but they won't because they don't know who you are.
Right.
So I'm looking for a way. So as far as the book goes, I have one connection of an author, a guy who has been published. So he said when I finish it, I should give it to him and he'll send it in for me. I don't know. Right now, I've typed. I put it on tape.
Yeah.
I like these stories that I'm telling you. I just told all of them. They got somewhere there's 9 hours of me talking to somebody, one guy, at different times.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's collected 9 hours worth
Wow.
of me telling stories about Clint, about this, about that, about auditions. And then he just sent me, this guy taped them all, just sent me 6 pages of it typed.
Yeah.
And I just retyped it, taking out the ums and the uhs and taking out the long pauses or things that weren't interesting or adding my little 2 cents to typing. And I read it and sent it back to him and he said, it's great, but it's 6 pages. I've got to have at least 150, I think.
Yeah.
So we're on the way, guys.
I got a feeling you won't have a problem.
Pages in the can, man.
I got a feeling you won't have a problem get to 150 though.
Well, no, I mean, when he did send me the page, because there's an app now. This blows my mind.
Yeah.
Digital is taking over the world. There's an app now. I don't remember the name because I just passed it on to the guy. That you take a recording, and it works for Zoom too.
Yeah.
You take a recording, and you just feed it into the app, and you type in what you want taken out. UM, UH, and there's a thing for spaces, like long pauses.
Is it
and
the
you
script?
just put it in, and what it does is it does it perfectly because I heard it back.
Yeah.
Perfectly, and it spits out a typed transcription with the ums, ers, and spaces taken out.
Yep.
And then I took that, typed out, works on Microsoft, and I just retyped it with my little, tweak to it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So no, it goes really fast. I did 1 page a day.
That's what
150 days. I guess you're right. We got to wait.
When we edit out the audio and we do this, we put it into a program called Descript.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we use to edit all of our stuff. Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
It's crazy.
I've heard it back.
You can also record your voice and do a bunch of control words, and then you can type out what you want it to say, and it'll say it back to you in your voice.
Yeah. It's pretty insane.
It's pretty insane. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not quite 100% because you can still kind of tell that it's not quite, it has a little digital quality to it,
But all I need is the typing.
Yeah.
So I don't have to pay a typist. And for me to type what I've already said and correct it with the ums and spaces out, it was really easy. I mean, just as a creative writing task, it took me 4 hours. You sit down and you work on it, 4 hours, boom. Well, I guess how it worked was no hunks. In other words, say the Clint Eastwood hunk.
Yeah.
I'd take me a day and then send that. Yeah, so that's when it'll be ready. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, when I typed it out and was ready to send it back to the guy to read, the guy who taped it, and I read it to myself, I said, wow, man, this is going to be really cool. I mean, I was really impressed by it.
Well,
plus you said you can have it, you can type it out, put it in and have it speak. That blows
your mind.
I don't have to memorize stuff.
Yeah, it blows my mind. It's a little scary.
Things they
could do.
The guy I sent it to called me and said something like what you said. Holy cow, this thing is amazing, because he's a freak for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the guy who turned me on to it has used it professionally, and he was telling me about it. But I just looked at it and said, no, I can't. I passed it on. But I did look at there's a little synopsis of what it could do.
Yeah.
I read that and I go, holy cow. But the guy phoned me and said, man, you should see I just send it to me. That's all. I send me the finished thing.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Oh, by the way, here's something. You see these paintings?
Yeah.
See the painting? Those are my paintings. I paint, not for a living. I just paint.
Yeah.
But I have a website. That's what I could tell you.
Yeah, please.
TheRealLarryHankin.com. Because somebody owns LarryHankin.com and they try to bribe me into paying them.
What?
Yeah, man. That's my name.
Garbage.
You steal my name.
Yeah, that's
anyway, I can't use
that's
LarryHankin.com.
BS.
So TheRealLarryHankin.com.
Yeah.
And my paintings are on there. So you can buy my paintings. They're that big. Or you can have them put on a T-shirt, which is a lot cheaper. I think.
Oh, that's cool.
$15 or something.
I might have to get a T-shirt.
Yeah, there's like 40 of them. There's 40. Yeah. And my film shorts. I have a lot of my own film shorts that I make.
Well, you were nominated for an Academy Award with Solly's Diner.
Yep.
What was that experience like?
Not what you think.
No?
Nothing I have ever done is what you think. I think nothing
goes normal for Larry Hankin.
I think it's normal for life, if you really want to know. Come on, man. I mean, movies are not what you think. Showbiz is not what you think. Being rich is not what you think. Money is not what you think. So anyway, there's a long story. I'll cut it short. I handed it in, and one of the things, I didn't think it was good enough.
Yeah. When
we finished it all, there was a lot of problems with it, but we got it done. I didn't think it was ready for prime time, but the cinematographer wanted to hand it in. I told him not to, because it was my money. It was my film.
Yeah.
So I told the cinematographer not to hand it in, but he needed a credit. He needed a job. I don't blame him, but I told him not to. And he called me up, and because first of all, the reason I didn't want to hand it in was because and I don't know where I got this, but I believed it in my heart, that if you hand in something to the Academy and it gets refused, you can never hand in anything ever again.
What?
I don't know where I got that, but that's why I told him not to hand it in.
Oh.
And I was very adamant about it.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, man, very disheartened, but he said, okay. About 3 weeks later, he calls me up. He said, I got good news and I got bad news. I go, oh, man. Because we had gone through so much trouble making that thing.
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, tell me the good news. No. I said, tell me the bad news. He said, the bad news is, look, man, I need a job. I handed it in. Oh, no, man, I told you not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I got to work. No, but, oh, fuck. All right. Okay, well, what's the good news? It's been accepted.
That's a great reaction.
Don't ever do that again, man. Don't. If I say no, don't. Yeah! I did. I swear I did that. I swear to God I did that. Oh, man. I had to just let it out. But yeah, I called him back. I said, okay.
Oh my God. That's a roller coaster.
Well, and then, so a roller coaster. Okay. So that was the best part.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we had to go, but to go, man, is a whole other, that's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I had to buy a tuxedo. Or at least rent one.
Yeah.
But I had to buy my girlfriend a whole new outfit. I had to buy it. I mean, we went to, Beverly Hills to buy a gown, a dress, I don't know what outfit. We had to rent a limo. You can't go in a Volkswagen Beetle. I've gone to openings, by the way, in my Volkswagen Beetle. I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
It was really a transportation vehicle. But I've gone to invitation major award things in the Beetle. And here's what happens.
Awesome.
You drive up with the limo.
Yeah.
A guy opens the door. It's a big thing. Drive up with the limo. But you get in line. So there's limo. No, here's where you got to go. Limo, VW transportation vehicle. Limo. So it goes like this. Limo drives up. Volkswagen Beetle. Guy comes up to the side of the window. Sir, would you pull out and go over to that? Go in that lane, please. And I had to, and they made me.
Wow.
Pull out and go and park in another area. So close it up. Limo. They actually didn't want my VW transportation vehicle pulling up to this major theater.
Oh man.
God, man. So then we get in, and then we get in. So we're all, and there's cameras and clicking and all that.
Yeah.
Walk the carpet. Okay, that's kind of cool, but they don't click as much when I walk by as when
it's Clint walks by.
Like this. Here's how that is. The walk,
Yeah.
It's like this. Okay. Yeah, and you hear that. And the flashing. That was me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they have no compunction about not taking your picture.
Right.
I don't care, man. It's like that. And you can see it, man. It's like this. From my point of view, it's like this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, who give a fuck? You're rude. Totally rude.
Oh man.
Show business.
Show business.
Nothing is like you think it is. Nothing. Even fans are not like you think they are.
Right. Well, Larry, we've been on for over an hour already. Can you believe that? It went so fast.
Yes. I mean, it generally just goes until they get bored with me.
I think it's impossible to get bored with you, man. I'd love for you to come back if you're ever.
Man. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love doing these things.
Oh, cool.
I don't have to rehearse.
Well, we didn't even get into all the other things that you have going on and all the things that you've been in. So I'd love to have you on again.
Oh, sure. You guys are great, by the way.
Oh, thanks. We try.
Me too.
I got to adjust because if I can get this up like this, then it's not so bad, right? Then I'm looking right at you.
Oh, I see.
Well, no, this thing is down here, so then it looks like I'm always looking down at you.
I have to wear these glasses. I can't work blurred. See, this looks blurred. I can't talk if I can't see. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I get you. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Let's set up another time because this was more than fun.
What is today? Today's Saturday at 11 o'clock. Well, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays between 10 and noon is okay with me.
Oh,
I keep that open for whatever.
Oh, well, let's get it back. I'll have Jeff set it up for us because that'd be perfect. Great. Yeah, I would love to go in because I'd love to talk about your time on Friends, and I know you have some fun. You gotta I know that you're one away from
like you think. Remember?
Yeah, well, because I know you're one away from being a reoccurring character, and
that story.
Yeah, so let's table that one for next time because
started.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Larry, thank you so much for taking your time out today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I really